course, to make special appearances, blocking us, barking as always. Even when the door is closed, she still manages to be heard. What is going on, everyone? You are now tapped in with Leveraging Your L's. We're Family Jemison, and we have my lovely co-host, Tierra Bryant, the efficient. What's going on, T? How are you doing on today on this lovely Thursday?
Hey, actually, I'm doing good. Today is our wedding officiant social. It's our virtual social, so I'm in a good mood. Just working on some stuff on the back end, and kind of been like surprised by some of the information coming out about officiants. And some good stuff lately. So excited to talk about it at the social and to see people virtually. I'm a little under the weather, so I apologize for the extra nasalness in my voice, but that's a good thing about being virtual.
Are you seeing that more interest being made? It's more interest that's being generated about like wedding officiating, or what are you seeing out there?
I'm seeing so American Marriage Ministries. I went live about this the other day. American Marriage Ministries surveyed 150 engaged couples, and they asked them how much are they allocating in their budget towards their officiant, and the numbers were very surprising. I was like, wasn't expecting that. So for you guys that didn't hop on my live the other day, it was 10% is allocating $200 or less to their officiant. 24.7% is allocating 200 to 500. 24.7% is doing 500 to 1,000. 16.7% is doing 1,000 to 2,000, and 24% is allocating 20,000, not 20, excuse me, 2,000 plus towards their officiant budget. I was like, I did not think that number would be so high. So I was here for it.
That's surprising to hear as well. What all talk about? Oh, don't get married. Who wants to get married these days? You think it would be otherwise?
Yeah, I was like, okay. I would think that 200 or less, I understand that. You know what I mean? You get like, you go to the courthouse, you get a family member to do it, maybe local clergy, usually just have to donate to that church. And it's always going to be the more cost efficient route. But to see that people was allocating $1,000, $2,000 to their officiant, I was like, that's right. Say what's up.
Every time I
That
hear
was good.
them numbers, man, them numbers get me every time. Them numbers get me every single time.
Crazy.
30 minutes worth for less than 30 minutes worth of work. Mm-mm-mm. They don't get any better than that. That's pretty dope. Yeah. You guys, for someone that's in the space, it's always important to know your numbers and know what's actually going on in the industry, and you're able to get that message out to other people who may be on the fence, not sure if this is for them. When you hear those kind of numbers, that means that lets you know, like, hey, more people should be doing it, and this is what's going on. This might be a service that you might want to entertain in the future. So it's good to know. Outside of that, how's the week? How did your week go last week in business, and how about this week?
Yeah, last week was pretty good. We did an elopement in the park, so that was really nice. We did a nice little review. This week has mostly been client meetings, getting ready for August, getting ready for my end of July weddings, introduction meetings. Those are always fun. And I actually got a really, 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 really good review this morning. One thing I love about reviews is pull quotes. So if people don't know what a pull quote is basically when you pull out like one or two sentences from the review. So if the review is like a paragraph, then you want to pull out the best, 1 to 2 sentences that really highlights whatever, service you provide or their experience or how you made them feel or something like that. Just something to really like connect to the people that is interested in your services. So she definitely threw in a lot of sentences that were like pull quotes, and I was like, okay, girl, you do what needs to be done. Okay. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So I was very excited to see that this morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good.
Always good to hear things are trending direction as always. Excellent,
Right.
excellent. I had an interesting week last week, and this week's been kind of interesting as well. So Last week I got my first request to do to serve someone for a process server assignment. First time I actually done before. I wasn't really active with promoting that service because I don't know how those situations would go. Like I'm just imagining me, I would be hot if I was someone where it served me. You just don't know how those reactions are going to go. But one of the clients that I always work with, they asked me, was that a service that I offer? I was like, well, I offer it today. I much rather them come to me than to go outside, go to another entity, right? So
yeah,
I was like, all right, yeah, I'm pretty sure it can't be that difficult. So I had to serve two individuals, one here where I live at in Stockton, and then I had another one in San Francisco as well. So it was pretty simple. It was just a 3-day notice to vacate. The only thing I needed to do was print out. It was like 2 pages. I just had to serve the person that was on the paperwork or the occupant, and then send a scanned copy showing proof of service to the attorney, and then mail off a copy. And that was literally just it. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more to it than that, but I just served them. So I was like, oh, that wasn't too bad. So I think that may be something I want to keep doing in the near future after actually going through that experience. What else did we do, man? Had a few nursing home signings. After I did those nursing home signings, for some reason, I just had some time on my hand, and I decided to do some market research because I'm always checking around, seeing what other notaries are charging for their services. And after doing like 10 to 15 minutes research, I just noticed that a lot of notaries, like the tie-breaking notaries in specific areas, they don't have these elaborate websites. In fact, the majority of them have free websites that they use from Google. And a lot of them had, 50 to 100 plus reviews. I've seen a notary who had 200 reviews and they're using a free website. A free website and they got 200 reviews. So I was like, man, that's why are notaries putting so much money and focus and time into trying to get logos and these websites set up? Well, you got the average notary who's doing really well. They using a free website, don't care as long as they get phone calls. So I was interested to see that. And so I was looking around, just trying to do some, just checking on. And I was seeing what other notaries are charging to go to like nursing homes and seeing what they charge to go to hospitals and jails. I was like, you know what? I think I may want to end up changing my pricing for going to nursing homes and going to the hospital. So after that, I decided, you know what, I'm going to raise the price. And sure enough, I got another call. I got another call this week to go to a nursing home, and they paid for the new price to go to the nursing facility. So that was a good feeling there to give yourself a raise.
So wait, what made you raise the price? When you saw other people's prices, were they higher than yours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my opinion, I feel like I'm the best out here. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like I'm one of the best out here. Yeah, because most people, they focus on just the loan signing aspect, which is nothing wrong with that. But I do a lot of general notary work, and so there's some questions that I can answer for a particular power of attorney document that a notary signing agent probably familiar with, or they may just turn down. For me, I feel like I'm one of the best out here, and I'm a charge accordingly. An example is obviously, this analogy may be a little different, but obviously, LeBron James, you can't pay LeBron James $1 million a year to play basketball. You need to pay him north of $9 and I feel that same way about myself when it comes to, provide notary services, etc. I was charging to go to the hospital and go to the nursing facility. I was just charging just your normal travel fee plus the fee per signature. But when I see other notaries are charging just specifically to go to the nursing home and go to the hospitals, I'm like, I'm gonna start doing that because I get a lot of those signings anyway. And then you're not factoring in, like sometimes when you do go to those signings, the clients, sometimes they don't got all their stuff all together. They forget to mention that the witnesses are needed, so that's an additional 10 to 20 minutes that you're sitting there at the location. And time is money, especially if you have multiple appointments that you booking per day. So, but you know what? I'm gonna raise my prices for that. And so as soon as I raise the price, I did another nursing home signing, and then I raised my prices for jail signings.
Yeah.
One of my peers, I don't know if you know Shanice. She had I was talking to her recently. She had someone that reached out to her about a jail signing, and she said, I guess the inmate reached out to her directly, and I guess he had called a bunch of notaries in the area, and they said they don't offer that service to go to the jails. And I thought that was interesting because jail signings are one of the few signings where whatever your price is, they're more than likely going to pay because they absolutely need it.
Same thing with jail weddings; they gonna pay.
Yeah, see, anything that's jail or prison related, whatever your price is, and obviously outside of the price, if you know, all around pay your price, right? So I thought that was interesting when she told me that that notaries in the area weren't, don't decline it. So I just thought, well, initially I was charging like $125 to go to the jails. Right now I bumped that up to 200. So y'all need me to go to jail, go to the prison, bare minimum 200. And they're more than likely gonna pay it because even when I was doing the research in my area, it's not too many notaries that's more notaries as well. So I said, hey, why not? Why not bump up the
price? Listen, that's smart. Prisons is like very like niched. As someone who used to work for Department of Corrections, like people don't want to go to prison. Like they really don't. And so one, you got to get cleared to go through there. So that automatically, not everybody gonna make it, but it's just a unique environment.
Very unique, indeed.
You is locked in there, just as everybody else. While you there, the door slams is mad loud. I'm like, that has to be psychological. Like, they gotta be messing with the inmates. Like, there's no reason this is like this. Like, this is crazy.
And then I went to a jail. I had a jail signing one time where they just left me in there with the inmate. I was like, ain't no guards in here? I was like, all right, well, if they come down to it, I was hoping that they don't come down to it. But if we got to do what we got to do, then hey, we got to do it. But I'm just thinking, like, if another notary was in that situation, they'd probably be very uncomfortable with just being like the guard was outside of the door. And he wasn't walking to see him, so it was just me face to face like this with the inmate. So if I was another notary who hasn't been in that situation, they probably would have been highly uncomfortable. It's like, you know what, I did this time, but no, I won't be doing that again. So I see now I'm raising my prices. So so for nursing homes, hospitals, jails, charge a premium. You got to think about the time that you got to spend going to those facilities, and even if you go through, it's a whole process that you got to go through. The ID, got to leave, they got the lockers that you got to leave in, and don't forget, like, if you happen to leave anything, like one time I was at a jail signing and I left my ink pad, and it was already quite a distance to actually go to the business facility to actually, so I had to walk it's like a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
Get back to the lockers and get my stuff. So that's additional time that's taking place. So for those type of signings, you definitely, I'm charging the premium all day, every day for that.
Nah, so you definitely gotta take those in consideration.
That's a fact. What else we did? So I was opportunity to do I was a courier for one of my peers out of Virginia. She had just completed her first apostille, and she needed me to go to the SOS. Asked me would I be willing to go to the SOS. I'm like, yeah, I'll go do it. And that didn't say nothing but a word. And I'm only probably 30 minutes away. But I like getting on the road, so I really don't mind driving. So I'm just driving just to go drop off some documents. That I can do that. And then when she mailed the documents to me, and then when I actually went up to the SOS, I'm thinking, I just got to drop it off, and I'll probably hear back from them in about 4 to 7 days. They're actually back to offering same-day service again.
Oh, that's cool.
That sounds pretty cool to see. I was like, oh, y'all back to offering same-day service? So now, we put that in the market. And, if you need same-day apostilles, that's something we can do for you as well. And another interesting thing happened. I now have 4 verified Google business profiles.
Hey, that's what's up.
Honestly, I don't know how the other 2 got verified, to be honest. I was like, hey, I've been trying to get those verified for a minute. it's interesting because I'll be coming across notaries where I had put out that post about not focusing too much on the website, just focus on getting your profile verified. I had so many notaries. I was like, yeah, I've been trying to get my Google business profile verified for a minute, and they just haven't verified for whatever reason. It used to be that they would just send you the postcard. They would just send you the postcard, and then it'll be verified. But like now, they want you to do what they want you to do, a video. They want you to record yourself on the video, or they the option to send a text message, or send a postcard, not postcard, but the email. But I mean, I guess they're not doing that for most notaries. So I guess now you got to do a business video, and even if you do the video, they still giving people like a difficult time with getting their profiles verified. So I was happy to just have my 4 because I got 8 pages. I got 8 of them.
Damn.
Yeah, initially I tried to get all 8, but like a few of them didn't get verified. But I guess 4 or 5, just two of them, I just got them verified recently. So now the next step is just trying to drive traffic to those pages and get some organic traffic going, so we continue to get more business. More business means more money.
That was good.
So that leads us to a conversation I want to have today about retaining your clients. Keeping those clients that consistently pay, whether that's 100, 150, 200, those are always great clients to have. And I would like to talk about, let's say, how to retain those clients. So I know for you, I know you do weddings, but I also know you also do notary signings as well. So I'm pretty sure clients that may call you for whatever they need you. What would you say would be some methods that notaries can use to, let's say, if they get an opportunity to work with an attorney, right, and they happen to follow up with that attorney and say, hey, if you need to go, we can always be able to service you. What are some ways what are some methods that notaries can use to continue to retain those clients on an ongoing basis?
So definitely we already know building relationships is super important to having any type of referral partnership. So people, just really want to get to know you because we're still people behind our business. So I feel like for me, the best way that I've really retained, just high paying clients is like building those relationships when I actually did have time to like spend with them. Like the other day I had a realtor call me I did one closing with her from the real estate attorney that I usually work with, and she called me because somebody else, her peer realtor, needed a notary last minute, and she thought of me and called me. So I wasn't available, but it's just the fact that I had one signing with you remember me enough to, and I followed her on Instagram. So following people on Instagram, utilizing social media, definitely want to leverage that. It's free. It's an easy way to connect. Even with Threads now, I feel like that's even easier to connect. I feel like Instagram, TikTok, all of these different platforms where people are like, monetizing makes it a little bit scary when you're like trying to, speak to people and go into their inbox and comment on their page. Like it's just a little nerve wracking. So I like the idea of Threads. Is such a new and like playful and engaging space that you can really talk to and like build up those that like personal relationship through those social media platforms. So I did follow her on Instagram. When she had certain stuff going on, I would share it. When she had stuff that I liked on her story, I would comment on it. I would be in her inbox, just, building again relationship. And, from that, you really can grow. So when you have that opportunity, then they see your work ethic. It's really like a plus plus. It's like, why would I not, work with that person? Now, you definitely have to stay top of mind. You definitely have to have, you working with them and like your business be the forefront of all of your actions. If it's not, then you're going to fall to the wayside. Like, you still got to be top of mind for everything. So keeping in contact with them, engaging with their stuff, sharing their stuff, letting them know you're available, letting them know even if they go with someone else and you see they just had a closing, congrats on your closing. Let me be at the table for the next one. You ain't, showing no hate that you wasn't there, they didn't choose you. Sometimes it's a lot of out of their control if there are events going on and you see them going to events, or if you see events that they may be interested in, send it to them. I've been invited to events where I would have never even thought of being in those rooms and those spaces. So you definitely want to utilize that. And I would say always be available. Like Stam say, always answer the phone. When they call you, answer the phone. I don't care what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Answer the phone. Let them know that they got, a little bit of priority there. And keep it personal. Like the girls say, kiki, smile, laugh, ask them about their day, and then, get into like, what they need. What you call me for? What you need me for? So you want to let them know, like, you that person. Easy.
You hit the nail on the head. Staying top of mind, I think, is something that's very, I wouldn't say it's very difficult, but it can be difficult at times just trying to stay top of mind. Because obviously you don't want to be blowing them up all the time and sending emails and doing those weekly phone calls, which is, that's a thing to do. But like you said, I think that's a great tip with the social media, right? So if they got some type of event going on, right, liking their posts, reposting their posts as well. If they have a post of them, whether they servicing a client or some type of educational tips that they're giving out, leave a comment, right, to help their engagement. Stuff like that does help you stay top of mind. Also, you said something that always saying yes. I can't think there was a time where I think I've ever told one of my clients no. Just always saying yes on a holiday, whether it's a last minute request, even if it's something where like I had a request one time for a signing. Like I kid you not, one of my clients hit me up. It was like 8 p.m. and they said they needed a notary like around in the afternoon. I was like, ain't no notary gonna answer their phone, respond to those signings like 9 p.m. or something like that. But I'm not gonna say no. I'm always, but just commit now and figure out the rest out later. So I just say, hey, just send me the details, and I'm trying to get that order filled in the morning. Sure enough, woke up early in the morning, like say probably 7. Most notaries don't really answer their phone really till around 8. Most of them answer their phone around 8. And I just start sending out text messages. As long as I got like a 3 or 4 hour window, then I think I can make it happen. And sure enough, we were able to get the order filled. So just always saying yes, just always being there for them when you need them. And when you're able to come through for them, they remember stuff like that. Like they're going to remember you. Like they're not going to just take their business elsewhere because they see committed to helping them not only get the signing done, but helping them grow their business as well. So always saying yes, never saying no. Commenting on their post is something that I always do. Also referring them business as well. So that's definitely a key thing to retaining their business as well. I work with estate planning attorneys. Everyone doesn't have a living trust set up. So one of my ways to always send in referrals was in the beginning before I started estate plan signings. I used to do a bunch of loan signings, doing those refis and doing those HELOCs. So my way of building rapport with those signers at the signing table, asking like, hey, do something you protect your biggest asset. Like if something would happen to you, where would your family still be able to live in the same neighborhood? Would the kids be able to still go to their to their same school? Or would your wife or your husband be able to continue to have to work? And I would always send those to the attorneys who I know. And sometimes it turn into business, but sometimes it do, sometimes it don't. But the fact is that you're willing to refer them business and always keeping them top of mind. That's going to keep that signing flow between each other, helping you go on as well. So,
yeah.
I'm trying to think what are some other methods. We got social media. We got referring them business.
Wait, hold on. We gotta get into work ethic real quick because I feel like professionalism and like work ethic really go like hand in hand, and that will really go a long way as well. So even it's like if you don't know something, asking questions, I think people would much rather you ask questions than to kind of like fumble through it or feel unsure in front of like, the signer, even though it's not really our place to explain every single thing. To give a general overview, you still got to feel confident in that. Like when you fumble in a summary, we could tell, you know what I mean? So definitely asking questions, making sure you're confident in the information that you're sharing. Um, if something is wrong, you want to acknowledge, the signer's concerns. You want to acknowledge that error. You want to be okay with calling, like not being nervous to call. Just put that call out. It is what it is. Some things got to get taken care of. Communicating after, letting them know the signing was done, everything was good, successful. I'm about to go drop it off. Following up with an email, tracking number for the package, doubling down with, letting people know you want to work with them again and sending them whatever like your information is. I don't know. People have like a follow up. We always say like have like a little a scheduled follow up, monthly at max. That's something that I did not like personally follow. And you see the effects. I'm more of a social media person. I'm not more of like a email person. So I did more of like in your inbox and stuff like that. But sending them an email, reaching out on holidays, again, social events that you think they would be interested in. You can send them something, scan e-bite real quick, take you maybe like 10, 15 minutes. You see something for lawyers, send it to a lawyer. Simple. So just like little stuff like that would be helpful.
Work ethic goes a long way. The price on having a good work ethic and just being an all-around professional. So little stuff like being patient with a client. So I give you a story. So I had a client one time. They needed me to go to estate plan signing. And this particular client, it was an elderly couple that sent up their estate plan. Now the husband, he just like, yo, I just want to get this signed and get this in place. But I kid you not, the wife was extremely meticulous, like extremely meticulous. Like there was a document with the Advanced Healthcare Directive. She was like, most people see that, because they give you the choice of either what's your instructions for end of life. Do you want someone to, if it get worse come to worse, do you want them to just pull the plug, or do you want them to continue to actively prolong your life? She was like, well, there's certain things in here where it says, about prolonging my life. Like, I don't want you to just pull the plug on me. I want this. Like, she was just like, it was just like very meticulous about certain things in that particular estate plan. So what was initially supposed to be a signing, but most estate plan signings, it really only take like 30 minutes. I was like there for an hour and a half. I was there for like for an hour and a half, and she just had like so many issues with just certain languages within the trust. And she ended up having to call, she called the attorney, like, mind you, like my attorney client at the time, she was pregnant and she was just about to have her baby. So imagine you do any moment now, this client calling you, got all kind of questions about the trust. I want this change, this amount of changes being made. To make a long story short, we were able to get everything signed and notarized. And when I left the sign, I just let her know, like, hey, we got to sign, we're good to go. And she was just so appreciative of the fact that I was willing to be patient. Now, just imagine if another notary who may not have been in that situation before, or they got other signings, they may have been trying to rush her, right? Yeah. And I don't know if you experience this, but most clients don't want to be rushed. Like, they want to be able to take their time. They want to be able to read the documents, even though they do get a final draft that's sent to them before the signing. Yes. Even when they get to the signing table, they still want to review those documents. So she was appreciative of the fact that I was going to be patient and just being professional and just sit with them throughout the process. So little stuff like that goes a long way, because if your client knows you're going to go all the way to service their client, and again, like I said, they know when the next client they have around, they're going to be in good hands whenever they're working with you. So you can't put a price on being professional. It goes a long way.
That's facts.
Professionalism, staying in contact with them through social media, referring them business. I'm trying to think what are some other ways that we can continue to retain those high-paying clients. No, I don't have anything else that really comes to mind, but I mean, if you just do those simple, I'm obviously just always being available. Never saying no. If you're able to do those things, I mean, it's going to be pretty difficult for them to leave you. Like I always try to like whenever I'm working with new clients, I always want to try to position myself to where I want to make it like foolishly business with anyone else.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to make sure like I want to make it extremely convenient for you. We always talk about having that calendar link right, having that calendar link set up, those personalized. You don't have to call around. You don't have to send out emails to see if anyone's available. Only thing you need to do is click this link, you choose a day and time, and we'll have someone available. Making it very convenient for them. That's another way to build customer loyalty. Always saying yes, whether it's on I've done signings on a holiday. I did a signing on Thanksgiving last year. I went to the hospital and did a signing on Thanksgiving. Now I wasn't anticipating on doing that, but for my clients, I'm gonna go above and beyond. And those are just like I said, even though it may be an inconvenience to your family, right? But I always think about always thinking about the back end. Like on the front end, yeah, it could be an inconvenience, but I'm always thinking about on the back end of what's going to come from me actually doing this. And from doing that, when they see stuff like that, it's like pretty difficult for them to go anywhere else, because then it gets to a point where they build a comfortability with working with you, right? Mm-hmm. They know your process already. That's another thing that we talk about. They like have their way of doing things, right? So you may have one client, you may have one attorney with want scans of all the entire documents. They have a certain type of thing that they want to be done, and they don't want to go through that process of having to explain that to another notary, right? But they're already familiar with you and they know your work, and they don't got to explain certain things to you. It's just we're pretty much on the same accord. Yeah, and it's going to be difficult for them to go in another direction to utilize someone else's services. Now, unless you just overall just horrible, and you just don't do your job right, then yeah, they're going to go in another direction. But when you're already kind of familiar with the process, and it's kind of hard for them to go in another direction outside of yourself. So those are how to retain those high paying clients.
Anything else? That was pretty good. Anything else? Let's see. Let's look on the wedding side. On the wedding side, we don't really retain clients. Like we're always in, trying to acquire like acquisition mode, because a lot of times a couple, they get married and then at max maybe you'll do the christening for their children, maybe you'll do their vow renewal, or something like that. Maybe they'll refer you out to their friends and things of that nature. So a lot of the times, like once you work with a couple or they go through like your funnel, they typically only go through it once. So it's really big on when they go through your funnel, you give them such amazing experience that they're not only talking about you like during the process, but they had you delivered such a great service as well, that they're talking about you at the wedding. They're talking about you in your video testimonial or in your reviews. They're referring their friends and family to you, or things of that nature. So while they're not going to work with you again, there's so many ways that they can bring more people to you to work with. So you want to be super mindful about that, or that perspective when it comes to that. And then also working with other like wedding pros, you want to build like a good referral relationship with them as well, similar to what you would do with like a realtor. You want to share their social media stuff. You want to do like some audience sharing, so you're tapping into their audience, they're tapping into your audience, and then you guys are showcasing each other's services to like a new set of people. And a lot of the times, if you are strategically picking the people that you want to build partnerships with, you want to be mindful of like where are their prices, their services priced at. Are they similar to where your services are priced at? Because more than likely any couple that work with them will have a budget for you too. So don't work with try to build a relationship with someone who maybe works with more DIY or budget friendly brides when you want to be like a luxe wedding officiant and you want to make $1,500. Probably not going to work out, right? So you definitely be strategic about your partnerships in that regard. Like I said, audience sharing, using social media as a way to introduce yourself to one another. A lot of the times you just have professional courtesy. If they share something of yours, you say thank you. You share something that is, they say thank you. And that's a way to introduce a conversation without you necessarily making the first step. So that's just another way to kind of build that out. But venues, wedding planners, photographers, those are great ways for anyone to kind of start building out those type of partner relationships. Those are who the couples are booking first. They're, again, the more expensive vendor. So if a couple can budget for, that level of expense, then they will probably be able to budget for whatever your level of expensive services are as well. I saw a comment, but oh, here you go. What's the best way to refer potential clients to a wedding officiant that you already know? I see requests for them all the time on Thumbtack, but that's not my niche. Oh yeah, so you would just see, now Thumbtack is a little bit tricky because it's a lead generating platform, so you would have to pay for that lead to really get like viable information to share with someone. So if you want to encourage that wedding officiant to sign up for Thumbtack, and those leads come through, then she has a chance of getting them. But it's kind of hard for you to refer clients unless you're like, are you paying for that lead?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you're paying for that lead and you're referring out, then, you need to communicate some type of partnership to get some back in so you can at least get your lead money back. I refer out to officiants all the time. For couples that come to me, either they want a service that I'm unable to provide, like bilingual officiating services. I do not speak no other language than English, but I know officiants who speak Spanish, so I would refer out to them, and then we have our own referral fee set up. And the same thing with if I'm busy and I have like my second in command, I have Norman, then I would pay him out and he would do like the wedding for me. So you can definitely refer to other officiants. But like I said, on Thumbtack, if you're paying per lead, then you need to be making some of your money back. If not, then I would just encourage your friend to hop on Thumbtack, so they can be exposed to those leads as well. But yeah, if you ain't getting a name and phone number, it ain't worth the moolah.
I was going to add, so for weddings, because I just had a couple of like things that came to my mind as far as like retaining those services. So I was thinking like number one, obviously would a wedding planner be someone like, even though that's like a referral, but like that'd be like a way to like retain, because obviously wedding planners, they're being utilized, right? And they obviously don't, if they have a client that doesn't have a wedding officiant and you already have that relationship, that's in a way, would that be sort of like retaining paying clients? Or would that be considered a referral partnership?
It's a little bit of both, but it's more of a referral partnership. So again, if you're working with a wedding planner, wedding planners, venues, and photographers are three of the top vendors that are hired at the beginning of someone's wedding planning process. So if they're getting a wedding planner, they're typically going to start looking at the beginning of their wedding journey. And a part of a wedding planner's responsibilities is to help them source out the other vendors for their dream team. So you can get hired by a wedding planner and you'll talk to the couple after they've paid like your contracted fee. So wedding planners can have a lot of, power in who is actually hired for whatever the event is, especially if your business and their clients are already like in alignment. It's going to be easier for them to refer you, and it's going to be more likely that you're going to actually, keep that referral because everything's already aligned in a way. So referrals with wedding planners are definitely really, really, really good. Typically, I spoke to a wedding planner not too long ago, and she was saying that for her experience, about 9 months to 6 months is when people start to look for their wedding officiant. So they already encourage them, like, that couple to start looking for the officiant 9 months from their wedding day. So that's already giving you plenty of time to work with them and build out a ceremony and create such an amazing experience. But the biggest thing is definitely finding wedding pros that are local to you, that you can really build a rapport with, that you can support, because that will be returned back to you tenfold, and it will go a long way, even for your pockets, mainly for your pockets, because that's a hot referral. Like, that's like a trusted, like, they trust that person so much they paid them, and now that trusted person is telling you to trust this person. You know what I'm saying? Like, definitely.
And I was thinking, and I was going to think as well, another way to retain the client was, let's say if they're renewing their vows, Now I'm pretty sure not everyone is like renewing their vows I'm pretty sure they're probably renewing their vows like every 5 to 10 years possibly. But I'm thinking if you already work with, if you have a good solid base of clients you've worked with before, at some point down the line they're going to end up renewing those vows. So that was just probably another idea I'm thinking of, but like I said, I probably not going to renew. What you said.
Yeah, so I just want to say when it comes to like officiating, that's something I had to wrap my head around too. It's like, all right, well, it's like, yeah, I can follow up with them, but the most of the follow up I'm chasing is the review. You know what I mean? Like after that, they can actively again talk about you during their journey, because a lot of the wedding planning planning is like very stressful. So when you come to meetings with your officiant, we're doing a lot of the easy stuff, a lot of the fun stuff, a lot of the romantic stuff. So you're already having a better experience with me in comparison to your other vendors, because over there you have to make a lot of choices, or you have to allocate money, or there's like responsibilities. All the corny stuff about like wedding planning is over there. All the fun stuff is during like your ceremony planning. So I get to partake and that does do well for my reviews. It does well for my couples, and by the time I get to the wedding, a decent amount of the bridal party and the family know who I am because they've talked about their good experience with me. So it all kind of like rolls into one another.
That's dope, man. At least we don't got to worry about AI taking over weddings. I don't see a robot performing a wedding anytime soon.
I saw that. I did see that. I saw a couple. There's some states where you can be self-uniting, meaning like you literally don't need an officiant at all. I think it's only like 5 or 6 states, right? And so I saw this article that said that AI chat GPT like married this couple. Yeah. Listen, officiants utilize AI to like write their scripts or help them with marketing material, things of that nature. So I'm pretty sure they have a lot of information, you know what I mean, to put out there. I've seen it. I'm sure. It ain't replacing the human experience. Like you can't replace this, but
that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking about, because I was thinking about that recently. Because I was. I'm always thinking about, all right, what can I do within the realm of the notary industry where we're trying to launch different businesses where it don't make sense. Because I think sometimes in the beginning we get so about starting businesses, right? Where we trying to do all these things. I'm a notary. I do Airbnb. I do Turo, vending machines. I do all of this. And it's kind of hard to build traction in that one thing. I always think about, all right, well, I have this notary business, right? What are some complementary skills or complementary businesses within the notary industry that I can do, and that AI isn't going to impact? Because at some point, I don't know when it's coming, but there's going to be some type of AI in place where the notary probably is not going to be needed. The AI will probably be able to verify someone's actual signature, be able to verify the identity without the actual notary being present. So I'm always thinking about that. And I was just thinking about fingerprinting. I don't see how AI would take over that unless I'm wrong. I'm always open to being wrong. If so, let me know. I was thinking about weddings. It's like just thinking about the human experience with someone actually doing it. Like I'm pretty sure nobody wants the actual robot to be present for the actual wedding. That's just I'm just.
So the only way I can see that is if somebody could take this idea, just give me my credit. That's all I'm saying. If somebody would like create it where you can like write, like a couple can write their own script and then they can have it in whatever voice, if they want to. Like I can have like Samuel L. Jackson, officiate my wedding, and I like write the script for it. So that's like the only way I can see it making like a little dick, because it's just like like Beyonce just did my wedding. Like, no, she didn't. But you see how it's already taken over in the music industry, and it's really shaking it up. So we can see what can happen. And then also, not to get on the AI trip, but there's also a Netflix show right now called Deep Fake Love, where they use like deep fake technology to like make it seem like your partner is doing something deceptive, and you have to choose if what you're seeing is real or if it's fake. So it'll show you what really happened, but then they use deep fake technology to make it seem like something else is happening, and you have to choose like whether it's so it's already being introduced into like TV shows. Like, listen,
it's weird. It's such a trip.
It's getting spooky.
I just want to be on the forefront of it because, like I said, at some point, like I even will use ChatGPT. Like I just try to come up with, because I'm trying to do something different. I'm trying to do something different, like as far as on the software side, but I want to be like within the notary industry. So I'm not trying to expand into something that I don't know. Just as a but I was trying to on ChatGPT and find like what are some ideas or like what are ways that AI can impact the notary industry or the mobile notary industry or the online notary industry. And it came up with some interesting stuff as far as like saying just verifying the signatures and identities and things like that. So I would just say in the meantime, don't rest on your laurels. Don't just think that this is, just us traveling to people's houses to notarize the documents or do the remote online, like that's going to last forever, because probably not. I would just like say, just think of like other ways where were complementary, non-notary skills where AI may not impact. So, planning, fingerprinting. I'm thinking about permit running. I'm thinking that's probably another thing where that may not be a thing where AI can actually impact outside of like obviously verifying the permits. Probably. The I-9s that probably would fall on the same things anyway, verifying the actual signature. I'm trying to what would be like other skills that AI is possibly going to impact. I can't think of nothing else right now, but yeah, that was just on my mind recently. And then, like, to think of weddings, I'm like, okay, well, if you're afraid of AI and it may impact your notary business, I don't see how AI will impact weddings. Like I said, no one wants a robot at their wedding or AI or a fake AI voice. Use the Beyonce voice.
I would say the other thing, or the other way people can use it and move way out of having an officiant, or because officiants have additional services, right? Like some officiants help with vow writing, some officiants will write your ceremony for you, and so that's the other part of having your friend or family member officiate your wedding, is that they have to say something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they have to know what to say. They have to know how the flow is. And so, of course, like chat GPT and AI is being used a lot for, that part too. Whereas it's like, all right, do this wedding script for me, and you be as detailed as you want, and you taking your own information, and then now you're giving this person the script. So now you're like cutting costs that even if you not having this officiant perform your ceremony, you're not paying for them, you might have used their service in order to actually write the script or whatever. And like now you don't even have to do that. Like now you can use Chat GPT to do that. So now you can really have a done, free type of wedding. But if that was always your aim, that was always your aim. If you always wanted to pay and have convenience, you always wanted to pay and have convenience. So don't be afraid of technology. Don't think it's gonna like snatch your job. Like there's a lot of people out there in the world who don't even trust technology. You gotta put a gun to their head to use it. So it's always gonna be those people out there. We already know there's human error, but there's computer error too. Ain't nothing 100%, and that's why they use humans now. So
yeah, no technology out there is perfect. Like that's another thing. Like people use that. Like I see a lot of like fear mongering with the AIs. Like, oh, it's gonna take so many jobs. Like, yeah, granted, it will take away some jobs, but it's not gonna take away every single thing, right? And even if it does get to a point where all of us are pretty much like in a land of like, okay, what do we do? It's going to be some time. There's going to be quite some time before that actually happens. I would say, like in the meantime, like figure out what the game is, what you want to do, what service that you want to offer. Write down what are the ways this can go right. Find out what are the ways this can go wrong, and then you're going to adjust as time goes along. So, yeah, man, no need to fear. We got a long way to go before we're like, oh man, what do we do now that AI is taking over the notary industry or whatnot? So you just gotta try to use it to your advantage. That's what that's what we have the tools for. I mean, as long as you use it, like get knowledgeable about the tools and knowing how to leverage those tools into your business, I don't see how it can impact you negatively. I mean, just in my opinion.
Well, yeah, maybe we should have an episode on leveraging AI.
Yeah, we'll talk about. Yeah, we're gonna talk. Yeah, that'll probably be next week's episode. How to yeah, we're gonna talk about how to use AI to how to use AI in your business, something like that. Yeah, we'll do that next week. Y'all stay tuned. Um, I think that's all I had today. Yeah, I wanted to come in here and talk about how to retain clients. Yeah, I get phone calls from Google I get phone calls from Google every day. Every client is not going to go with you, but what's been able to help me for the past couple of years or so is just having those clients on retainer, and they always utilize my services. So do whatever you can to get those high paying clients. Now, I want to let the folks know it is a long term game. It's not something that happens overnight. You got to kiss a lot of frogs. I've had plenty of signings where I actually work with the client instead of the actual attorney who's actually drawn up the documents, and I follow up with the attorney. And sometimes they say they may not need a notary just for that one time, or they may say, hey, we'll keep you top of mind for the next time we need you. So as long as you're following up and you just try to keep the long term game in mind, when you're gonna actually look up, you're gonna get to a point where it's like, well, shit, I'm not really worried about if I get any phone calls through Google or Yelp, any of those. They have a set base of clients who already use our services already ongoing anyway. So try to shoot for those long term clients. So. Shameless plug, because we always got stuff popping up. I see you got a wedding official social tonight. Talk a little bit about that. What can the people expect? What kind of value are they going to get from attending this event?
Okay, let's run it down. So tonight is our wedding officiant social. We're super excited because this month is virtual. That means anyone from any state can tap in. It is open to people who is thinking about officiating, have done a wedding or two and want to make some more money, or have been doing it for a while and want to level up in their bag. I love it because it's just open. You come in here, you ask a question or two. It's going to be ran by me and Norm. And it's just a place for everyone to share their tips, tools, strategies, support, whatever they got going on, how they want to build, how they want to level up. Do they want to change something? Do they want to niche out? If they got any questions, concerns, system, ideas. It's just really an open space, a mastermind of the sorts for officiants to really get to the bridal bag. Because let me tell y'all, people get married every single day. So whether you want to stay on the lower end, higher end, or somewhere in between, there is space for you. And I'm about to raise my prices, so I want to talk about it.
Nice. Ain't no better feeling than giving yourself a raise.
You just said that, literally.
No better feeling than giving yourself a raise. I remember them days. I used to work as a security guard at this one company. And around the time of by the time they get your bonuses and stuff like that, every people they had the guards and they'd be like, yeah, I want to get a raise and I don't know how to approach it. And I was like, man, now just looking back, I'm like, man, it's different. Like, I don't know. To have someone to give you money. I don't want to ask. I'd rather say you know what, this is my price. And just leave it at that. Just set the price and live your life. And I really live by that model. So I'm gonna do a wedding.
Not everybody gonna pay it.
Huh?
I said not everybody gonna pay it.
Yeah, everybody gonna pay it, but it's gonna be some people that's gonna pay it.
Yeah.
I had someone call me yesterday. Who was that? Damn, I had 2 phone calls that went like that. Someone wanted to get one document notarized. I gave them the price. And they was like, oh, let me call around. I'll call you back. Okay, cool. Click. I know you're going to call me back. And then I had someone else. They called me. Because people be thinking that, here's a trick, man. Here's a trick. Be thinking that, oh, can I just come to you? Like, no. You can't come to me. No. There's no coming to me. I come to you. Because if you come to me, then it's not really worth it. To me, in my opinion, it's not really they come to you because then they're gonna get the document on the rush $25 or $30. I'm not that guy. No. I'm sorry. I work too hard, did too much work to get paid $30 for a signing. And even if I did have my own office set up, what I'm gonna charge you for travel, I'm gonna charge you the same for you to come to me. So you might as well come to me, get you taken care of, you going about your day. Yeah, I'm not with that.
It's funny you say that because yesterday I had a D package. It was some I don't even. It wasn't for a title company, but it was like independent, buyers and sellers, and they just like
Yeah.
set it up on behalf of the seller. And so it was close to my town, whatever. And so when I went to the appointment, me and the signer was walking. We were talking, and I was telling him that I parked on the street, and he was like, "Oh, did you put enough money in the meter? I know you don't want to get a ticket. It's probably, more than what this appointment is costing or something like that, right?"
Yeah.
And so it made me think because I'm like, okay, a parking ticket may be like $32 max. Like, you really think I came out here for less than $32? Like, that's all I was thinking in my head. Like, so we go up to his, he was like the chief of whatever his department was. So we go up there and I'm like sitting in his office and it was a really nice view. And I was like, I got paid $150 for this appointment. There's no way you thought I got paid like 30 something dollars for this. Look at that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm coming to you, it's lunchtime, like, I had to drive around to find parking and all this other stuff. And I was just like, wow, you right, not me, not I ain't that girl either. Like, you gotta pay me. That's just it. I'd rather stay at home.
It's not worth it. You come across, because like every document is not the same. It's not the same. So now, so people be thinking, like clients be thinking, like, oh, you just signing one page. Now, let's say if you do get that one page, I'm so accustomed to this particular power of attorney, and I come across an unfamiliar power of attorney, and I do it wrong. Right? If I do it wrong, then you're gonna want your money back and all this other stuff, right? I was like, no, you're paying more than just for the travel or paying for the signature. Like, you're paying for my knowledge to be able to actually, because when people get those power of attorneys, people don't know what a principal is. People don't know what is. Like they actually don't know that stuff, right? And some notaries who I've come across and worked with before, they don't know that stuff either. So you be working with someone who may be giving you a good deal, but they mess things up. Let's say if you got like your mother or your father is in a nursing care facility any day now, it's a good possibility that they may lose their sound of mind or whatnot. You need to get access to their bank accounts, right? To pay their bills or whatnot. All it takes is for a notary to actually complete that document wrong, and then when it's time to do the signing again, your parents sound of mind, and they're not able to give you power of attorney. Then and we know what comes along from that, right? But if you were to work with someone who's actually charging you a premium, if someone is charging you a premium, it's probably a good. If they're charging you a premium, it's more than likely is because they know what they're doing. Right? If you paying the absolute cheapest price, they probably don't even care. Like a good way. Here's something that I used to say all the time, which I don't do anymore. You can always tell if you working with a notary, this is how you can tell you working with a notary who may not know what they're doing. At the end of the signing, if they say, "Hey, if anything goes wrong, just give me a call back. I'll do it for free." If they tell you that, if a notary tells you that, you are in trouble. You're in trouble. If someone tell you, it's like, hey, if anything pops up, anything goes wrong, just give me a call back and I'll do it free of charge. So, yeah, so if someone tells you that, you might want to be like, oh, I don't know.
That is not the seal of confidence.
That's not the seal of confidence at all. And not the seal of confidence.
You need the seal of confidence with your notary seal.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But like in the beginning, while I was unfamiliar with doing those type of documents, I used to say that at every appointment. Every appointment, I used to always say that. I say, hey, if it's something, if it gets kicked back for any reason, just give me a call back and I'll do it. Right? And those things happen. So now I don't got to say that stuff no more because I know what I'm doing now. So that is something to be on the lookout for.
That's funny.
What I wanted to say before we head out, do I got any shameless plugs? I would just tell anyone, man, like, why don't you sign an agency? I would say that before I head out. My 2-year anniversary is coming up at the end of the month. I had signings in Louisiana today, 2 signings in Texas. I got a loan signing that I booked in Indiana, and I live in California. Okay. I live in California. I do all this stuff from home, from my phone, and it's been a blessing to be able to have like this type of business model because there was days where I'd be stressing out if I didn't get these phone calls from trying to services or if I wasn't outside doing these signings. Like now I don't have those kind of problems because I have the ability to do signings cast a wide net across the country and be able to service clients and be able to add value, not just to clients, but I'm also able to add value to other notaries, helping them get business, helping them get paid as well. So I would say if you don't want to start a signing agency for yourself or whatever, like do it for your family, do it as a way to create opportunities. Before I head out, I got to say this. I had a signing. So on my way to dropping off those documents, those apostille documents for the Secretary of State, I had a client that called me signing that was like, they needed to be done like right away, but I wasn't able to do it. Luckily, my mom is a notary. So I was able to just put them on hold. And I was actually able to just hire my mom, so she was able to do the signing for me, and I let her keep the entire fee. So if that don't give you enough reason to start your signing agency to be able to create those opportunities like for your family on top of that, like I don't know what to tell you. So, and I'll leave that, and I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Start a signing agency. It will definitely change your life. It's done a lot for me. So until then.
We almost is there. We was almost there.
Uh-oh.
You there? Okay. I was like, we were almost there. We were on the sign off. It's going to freeze on us.
All right, y'all. It's been real. We'll see y'all next week. We'll probably be talking about AI. Peace.
Bye, y'all.